I would argue that we are a deeply colonized people and that a lot of our behavior is the result of our
trauma,
oppression and trauma, right? Like I think that we have a lot to unpack. So, you asked about goals for now. I think one of the most important goals for now for the Jewish people today is to decolonize Jewish identity, to actually apply post-colonial tools to ourselves, to our experiences, to our identity, to our needs. I think it would help us heal from our trauma, and I think it would help us to define what we're trying to create here.
What does that mean practically?
I'd say every people that achieves liberation from foreign rule should go through a post-colonial experience afterward, a post-colonial conversation internally. Let's say you grew up in Toronto. So let's say that when you were 12, your home was invaded by ninjas. And the ninjas rearranged your furniture. They forced you to listen to Japanese music, and they forced your family to stop eating, whatever corned beef sandwiches and bagels and cholent, and start eating only Japanese cuisine, sushi. You had to eat sushi all the time. And you're 12. You can't do very much about this. So they stay. And that's what's happening in your home. Now, 5 years go by. You're 17. You decide you're going to fight the ninjas, and somehow you win, and your home is free. Now your family has to have a conversation, two conversations. The first is, where did the furniture used to be? And the second is, do we or do we not want to put it back? Right? Meaning that the music, on the one hand, it's the music of the oppressor. On the one hand, you were 12, now you're 17. A lot of your coming of age experiences took place against the backdrop of that soundtrack, meaning you have nostalgia that's triggered by that music that's also the music of the oppressor. The food, Japanese food is much better for you than Jewish food, right? It just is better for me, better for you. Like we're better off eating sushi than corned beef sandwiches or bagels and lox.
Or kishka, yeah.
Certainly kishka. And especially if it's a real kishka.
Yeah. Right? It was delicious. Sorry.
But the food, even though our bodies get used to it and it's better for us, it's also the food of the oppressor. So this is the conversation that the Jewish people need to have. We have to look at what happened to us, because we weren't just colonized in our own land, like let's say the Algerians, right? We were, especially Ashkenazim, we were crushed, destroyed, and taken into the belly of the beast, taken into the civilization that had destroyed us, and spent 2,000 years almost being constantly, there were cycles of traumatic persecution inside that civilization that had destroyed us, right? That was our experience, which finally climaxed with the Shoah, right, in Europe. And we haven't even begun to heal from that, right? We came back with a lot of trauma, a lot of unhealed trauma. I'd say we're the victims of that trauma. I would say Palestinians are the victims of that trauma because they're living under us now, right? And we haven't even begun to heal. We need to heal. First of all, we need to look at what happened to us, decide what we want to put back or not put back, right? There are things that were features of our civilization 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago that we just might not want to put back, wouldn't be relevant today. But there are also things that we probably would, right? There are things, certainly the values that were expressed in our society and the way we lived. And we have to figure out what that looks like in the 21st century. What does a Jewish state look like in the 21st century? What makes a state Jewish, right? Is it just a European-style nation state with Jewish decorations? Or is it a state that expresses our identity and our values in its policies and institutions in a very, very deep way? Right now, I would say the state of Israel has a Jewish character that's very hard and very shallow. It's too shallow for the Haredim, and it's too hard for the Palestinians. But if we were able to make our identity, the Jewish identity of our state, deep and soft, I'd say that Haredim would recognize it as Jewish, and Palestinians would barely notice. Meaning it would just permeate our society without anybody feeling othered because they're not a Jew.